In this lesson, we are going to create our product display page.
All right.
In the last lesson, we put together our administration system for products, so now it's time to take a look at product display. Let's jump over to the actual product display page here. Actually, I'm going to load this in a new tab, just keeping so that way we can get back to whatever we need to. So the old page is, of course, products.html.
Right.
And this is the static HTML version. We now have a database system that we wish to go and load records from. Though if we think about it, we don't actually have anything in here. We can see that this is completely blank.
Right, there's nothing there.
So we're going to spend just a minute and throw a product or two in place.
Okay.
Just so we have something, because otherwise we'll get done making the cool database version and there'll be nothing in it.
Exactly.
So let's grab one of these. Call this like such. And yes, can't you just feel the excitement from all the copy?
Copy paste, copy paste.
So
all right.
Display order 1, active.
And submit.
So we have that. And I'll leave it at just 1 for the time being.
Okay.
We might add 1 later if we want to see how the page is filling out. So we have some data. We have a reference of how we want this to work. So let's begin on the PHP version of this page. To start with, I will grab the HTML version and drop it into GoLive, much like we did with the news version. So here we have all of our products. We need to go in and find what table comprises each product. So we pretty much have this entire table and some new line tags. Let's verify that. We can see that, yes, we have this full table. So here we have the new lines, and that makes up one iteration, you could say. So what I'm going to do is copy at the end of this and hit Shift and page down a few times. I should just hold the arrow key for a minute. And here we have the very last one. We can see the 2 trailing new line tags.
Right.
So we'll press delete, and that should about do it. We have the start of our table here. So we can see we're on column, and that lines up. So here's the start of our table, or start of our item, rather, and the end. This means we can open and close our PHP tags. So we have the first one, where we can run a query and then begin a loop. We have our final one, where we can end that loop. So, we need to run a query. This means we need our database script. So I'll go to the very top of the products script, open up a PHP tag, and include our database script. So it'll say includes /db.php, like so. And actually, we also want to make sure we do a save as on this.
Okay.
So we save over to products.php.
Right, so just in case, yeah, I gotcha.
So now, we need to jump in and start working with some of this information. So we have a database connection. Let's run our query to retrieve information for the product list. So we'll say query is going to be select, let's see, which fields? We only need the title, short description, and long description. So we'll say select title, comma, short description, comma, just regular description, from products, and we'll say where active is 1. So we only load active products when we're in the display script. Now, one final thing we want to make sure we do is add the order by. We'll order by our display order. So we'll use that display order in this query. And that way it'll respect whatever display order we set from the admin screen. So display order, like such. So now we need to run this query. So I'll say $result equals MySQL query, feeding it $query, and our database link. Now, we need to build a loop around this, or using this result. So we'll say while $row equals MySQL fetch associative for $result. And we'll open up our syntax block, and in our final PHP tag, we will close that block. So with this in place, let's save products.php and run it. So PHP
and
syntax error on 79.
Line 79.
So what seems to be the trouble? Once again, check out the recurring problem of not completely closing our parentheses for our while loop. Problem strikes again.
And there we go. Look at that.
So we have one item. Now let's verify that this is in fact working from our admin screen. So let's put something that would allow us to see this. Do our old -ed test. And rerun the script. And do we get anything?
No.
And why is that?
I don't know. Why is that?
Well, we have our loop running. We have our data in $row. Are we doing anything with that? Over here, we are not. This is all static. We have to go in and fill out the values for each iteration of the loop. So
you are absolutely correct.
Let's set that up. We need a PHP tag, and we need to say that we want our $row, and this is going to be the title, like such. So now let's run. And there we go, the edited version. So now all that's left is to fill out the rest of our text fields here. So let's copy this and throw it into place. So here we have our short description. So let's scroll over here, say short description. And finally our full description. So we'll simply go over here, paste this in, and this is just description by itself.
Right.
So we'll save this, we'll run it, and that seems to update all slightly. It was just a matter of one space over at the end.
I see.
So now let's go in and add one quick temp record to make sure that we are in fact properly using multiple records. So we'll say temp1, short, full, display order of 2, and this will also give us the ability to test our display orders. So we'll set that to active
and submit
that. Alright, what do we have? Ooh, we have a second product.
There we go, and look at that, it's a second one line.
Now this is messing with our tables just a little bit. Let's actually go in and take a look at fixing this. You can see if we have text that's too short, this gets pushed over to the side.
Right.
Let's go find this part of the cell and set it up so that this spans across the entire length.
And keep everything nice and uniform.
So jumping back into Go Live, and then back to Layout, here we have the value of keeping this accessible through Layout. Because we put the tags around all this, we can still get to the individual pieces.
Okay,
so we could say this cell, let us specify a width in %. Let's see if we can get away with 1%. Save that out. And there we go.
There you go.
Table's locked back. So even if we had a description that was short, which we wouldn't necessarily have, but in cases like this, this keeps everything looking nice. So we can see that our loop is in fact working. We now have a product display page. Now let's check a few of the other values. Let's make sure first that our active is working. So can we deactivate a product? So we'll uncheck active, we'll submit that, refresh, and it looks like we can.
Cool.
So we'll bring
this actually is where active would really come in handy, because if your product's out of, you're out of stock on that product, you don't have to delete the whole field. You just go in there and hit the active button.
Leave all the information there and simply deactivate it until you get more in stock.
Because that would suck. You'd have to go in there and type everything over again once you get that product back in stock again. So
yeah, it could definitely help out there.
Yeah.
So we see if we can bring the product back. Now let's take a look at our orders. Our first product is display order 1. Our second product is display order 2. So let's take this now and change it around. Let's set this to 0. So we can set it before the other one. And we can. So we can, in fact, swap their orders around.
I see.
So really, that's all we need to look at in this lesson.
All right.
We've taken our products page and added the necessary PHP code to make it load data from our database.
And this is essentially also the same thing you did on the news one also.
Yes, it's the same type thing. We just needed to take into account our display order in the query, and we needed to have this based around the HTML for this. So we had to go into the HTML and find exactly what constitutes each product.
And we also did a little bit of troubleshooting in there. So that's just also another good example is if you're getting, once again, you're getting results that whereas you're getting no errors and you're just getting weird data, go and check your code. There's usually something in there that you just forgot to do.
Yep, and that's generally what it comes down to.
All right.
So with that, that is going to wrap up this lesson.
All right.